Hi, I'm Liz Salmi, and I am a co-investigator in optimizing engagement and discovery of molecular evolution of low-grade glioma, or OPTIMUM, or for short. I'm going to talk with you a bit about my perspective as a participant in this project. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you my story, why I'm interested in participating in research, opportunities for co-design in research, some of the engagement optimization unit aims. But first, you need some background. In 2005, at age 25, I stopped being the drummer in a punk rock band and started my first real job as a person who works in digital communications. And along with a first real job, you often get health insurance. And out of all the options presented to me, I picked a health system that offered me this ability to log in through an online patient portal, which was kind of new at the time. With these portals, you could pick a doctor, make an appointment, order prescription refills, and also send messages to your doctor. And as I love this, because as a healthy young person, it meant I did not need to make any phone calls to get anything done with my care. And learning how to use a patient portal actually proved really useful when 3 years later, 1 week after my 29th birthday, I suffered a massive seizure. I landed in the ER and a scan showed I had a mass in my brain. And then after a 9-hour surgery, we learned I had a slow-growing brain tumor called an astrocytoma, or a low-grade glioma. 6 months later, this tumor grew back, and then it sent me into a whirlwind of treatments over the next 2 years, including a second brain surgery, continued struggles with seizures, physical and occupational therapy, and then 24 months of chemotherapy. There's no right way to respond to a brain tumor diagnosis, but my way was to respond with curiosity. And over the following weeks and then months and now years, I continued to fall in love with that online patient portal. After every appointment or test, I would faithfully log into this portal and then stare at these metrics and graphs that were depicting various details about what was going on with my body. And if there was a word or phrase on that portal I could not understand, I would go online and look it up. But if I couldn't find what I was looking for online, I would use that same portal to send my doctor an email with a question. Because what meaningful use is this information without more interpretation? In the following years, more things changed. One big thing was in 2015, when my dad was diagnosed with glioblastoma, a very aggressive form of brain cancer. This got me wondering, how might this affect other members of my family, especially my little nieces and nephews? Additionally, more of the brain cancer friends I developed over time, especially those with low-grade gliomas, continued to have their cancers progress, and eventually they died. I wondered, what could I do? What information could I share to advance research, especially as it related to my own unique disease? Not long after, I learned about the low-grade glioma registry run by principal investigator Dr. Elizabeth Klaus. The low-grade glioma registry was studying the effects of low-grade gliomas and treatments on a patient's daily life, how these tumors develop and progress over time, why some people like me develop low-grade gliomas and others don't, and why some of these low-grade gliomas turn into high-grade gliomas over time. This study was designed for me. I was pumped. And if you don't understand what that says, essentially, Dr. Klaus was studying people like me to discover things that matter to me. I needed to sign up. I was committed. In order to participate in the low-grade glioma registry, I needed to provide the investigators a few pieces of information, such as my pathology reports from my various surgeries, biomarker reports, and other medical records. And as this fan of the online patient portal, I thought surely that information will be online for me. But sadly, as I logged in my portal and clicked around, I could not find any of that information. I was frustrated. So then I started making phone calls to my health system. And I realized it's actually really complicated to get this information. Essentially, over a five-week period, I had to make many phone calls, was asked about fax machines, received letters in the mail, received the wrong information, was sent new logins to other patient portals to get what I need. In total, over a month passed before I got the information I needed to send it to Dr. Klaus. And then once I did and was fully registered and informed, consented, I never heard back from the study again. Wah, wah. A number of years have passed since then, and I've now been working in healthcare, specifically on two really meaningful projects. Today, I work on research dissemination for Open Notes based at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. We've been studying transparent communication in healthcare, specifically as it relates to what happens when patients have access to their progress notes. I'm also working on the Brain Cancer Quality of Life Collaborative along with Dr. Bethany Kwan, who's the principal investigator for the Engagement Optimization Unit. Within the Brain Cancer Quality of Life Collaborative, we've been engaging diverse stakeholders in brain cancer in the prioritization, design, and conduct of research. You may imagine, as a person living with a lived healthcare experience, working in healthcare and kind of getting the fast track to research, I've been learning a lot in the last 4 years. Through both of these projects, Open Notes and the Brain Cancer Quality of Life Collaborative, I've been absorbing everything I can about transparent communication in healthcare, access to records, and patient co-design and research. I've had this unique opportunity to present to large audiences, speak to large audiences about these concepts, and learn a lot. I've even been involved in research from a patient perspective, helping the Open Notes team look at future research projects from a patient point of view, study new concepts, and ask different questions our team wouldn't normally think about. I'm learning to write papers that go back and disseminate research to the very clinicians who are providing care for us. And lately, I've been interested on how might we start tracking resources and tools that help future patient investigators be more prepared for leading their own projects. Today, we know that there is a lot of opportunity to advance brain tumor stakeholder engagement. If you go into PubMed and search the terms stakeholder engagement and brain tumor, the top two first results are papers written by Bethany and I. So there's a lot more work to be done. Additionally, there's a lot of work in other cancer spaces about involving patients in the co-design of research that is showing that if you involve patients and study recruitment, you actually can beat your recruitment goal. There's a lot to be figured out here. Now, I talked about the International Low-Grade Glioma Registry. This was before OPTIMUM, which we're about to start on. And the Low-Grade Glioma Registry, remember, this was studying people like me to discover things that matter to me. It was great, but there were challenges. So today, we're getting to start on OPTIMUM. OPTIMUM is the next phase of the Low-Grade Glioma Registry. With it, we've got the Participant Engagement Unit, the Genomic Characterization Unit, and the Engagement Optimization Unit. I'm part of the Engagement Optimization Unit as a co-investigator, and I'm really excited. We've got a couple of main aims, which you may have heard about in the last few days, but I'll kind of repeat them here in case nobody already talked about them. So we're going to be engaging people with low-grade glioma and other stakeholders in genomic research, and we're going to optimize and test the effects of registry recruitment, data sharing, and the return of results on participant engagement and perceived trust in genomic research. That's a lot of words, so I'll just translate this into plain person language. The OPTIMUM EOU is going to involve patients in the design and messaging of recruitment, help remove the barriers of entry to participating in research, kind of like how I took a lot of effort for me to get my records in order to participate. So we're going to remove those barriers. And then we're going to make participation a meaningful experience. What do people want to get out of the study besides just sharing their information? And we're going to, and I put question marks there because we recognize that it is only when we actually start working with our stakeholders and recruit our stakeholder team that we'll truly find out what more people want to get out of this project. There's what I want, but I can't impose my values on everybody else. I'm very excited that our first two initial low-grade glioma registry patient stakeholders who are involved in this project are super rock stars, Charlie Blotner and Neslin Gay. They're both patients living with low-grade glioma, but they're also leaders in other areas of health research. Before I go, I want to remind you about the why. I told you early on I was interested in this work because I want to learn more about how the effects of treatment on low-grade gliomas impact us patients on our daily life. I want to learn why these tumors progress over time and why some people with low-grade glioma turn into high-grade glioma. The reason I'm not here today is because my tumor is progressing and I'm having brain surgery. I found out just a few weeks ago that this was happening. I also found out that one of my good friends, also living with low-grade glioma, she had a recurrence as well. So the two of us are heading into surgery at the same time, at the same hospital, and we may even be some of the first participants in this study ourselves. Thank you for listening. I'm very excited to be involved in this project and to work more with the other centers to learn how we can bounce ideas off of each other as we go through this project over the next few years. I really want to thank the PIs for involving me, listening to me, and being so open to patient voices in this project. And then I also want to give a shout out to my boss at Open Notes, Dr. Kate DeRoche, who's going to be a co-I with me, and we'll be learning together. I will see you guys in a couple of months after surgery, and thanks for having me here today.